Good morning. Thank you very much for showing up today. It's clear that this is a popular story. There's a lot of curiosity about this little ice cream business that the two of you have built. So Hannah and Xavier, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having us. We're excited to be here.
Start right at the beginning. Well, let's actually start before the beginning of this ice cream company. 17 years old, you joined the Marines.
That's right, yes.
How come?
Well, I always love a challenge. And actually, my older brother joined the Marines 2 years before me. He was always my hero. And so I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I didn't want to go to college at the time. And so I was like, I'm gonna give that a shot.
And obviously went to boot camp, went to 29 Palms.
That's right.
Eventually you decide that maybe that's not for you long term. And so you enroll in culinary school.
That's right. Well, so when I left the Marines, I went actually to nursing school first. And it was mainly just because I, again, wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And I got through all my prerequisites and I was about to go into clinicals and I was like, this is just not for me. It's not my passion. And I always loved food. I loved to cook ever since I was a kid. I always made all of our Thanksgiving meals and Christmas meals. I just loved to cook, and so I switched to culinary school, and I loved it. And then that's how I met Xavier. I was doing an internship, and I came to his restaurant. He had just arrived from Belgium. It was 14 years ago. 50. And he didn't speak any English at the time, and I was just like a kid out of culinary school, and he just welcomed me into his kitchen, and really most of my culinary training I learned from Xavier. Which, I mean, that's true. He's a classically trained chef. He worked in Europe for 20 years.
I was in the business for 25 years. I started when I was 14, actually. Culinary school, 14. Yeah. It's a family story. You can tell I love food. I know that right when I started. So, yeah. Yeah, 25 years.
What brought you to Richmond?
So, food. Food brings me pretty much everywhere because that's the thing. I mean, food is universal. It's all around the world. You don't have to speak the language. Actually, I learned the language here, so I apologize for my English is really not the best, but I tried. So yeah, I get a chance to open a Belgian restaurant in Midlothian, in Richmond, and I travel all my life, and never came to US. Came on vacation here, love it. Said let's try. It was a successful restaurant. I'm in Hannah, so now I'm stuck here. It's changed my life for the good.
Hannah, you were preparing desserts and, among other things, a Greenleaf Full Room for quite a while there. And during that period, you would occasionally allow Xavier to taste some of what you were creating. Tell the story.
So I created the first ice cream sandwich. I was a chef at Greenleaf's, and the kind of theme of Greenleaf's is old school type of cuisine, like taking, say, deviled eggs and making it into something that's really special, not your average deviled eggs. And so that was kind of what our theme was there. So I created and started making ice cream sandwiches from scratch. We started with a little 2-quart tabletop ice cream maker that made 2 quarts at a time, and I would make the ice cream sandwiches, roll out the cookies, like hand cut each cookie, and form it all together. And so the first one that we made was the classic. It was vanilla ice cream, but real vanilla beans, the Madagascar, vanilla extract, and then a chocolate cookie. And Xavier tried it and he was like, "This is something. We should do something."
My life changed that day. My life changed that day. I tried. I was like, so first we put it on the menu of a couple of the restaurant, my restaurant, gone. After a couple hours, friends thought, "Can we have a couple ones for kids? Can we have a couple?" I'm like, "Wait a minute, I think we get something." So I was always looking because, as you know, be a chef, I'm 46 today, technically I'm 56. It's a hard job. So it's a hard life. I was looking to get out. I was always training on sauce. I'm passionate about making sauce. I love to do that. So I always was looking for something. And when Hannah made the first ice cream sandwich, I was like, no, this is it. This is absolutely delicious. I said, we're going on the market. So I tell her, like, make me 20. I'm going to one of our good customers now in Richmond and said, hey, buddy, do you want to sell this? Take me on board right away. You have a lot of amazing people in this town and believe in you right away. So we don't have any money, zero money.
That's right.
So I said, okay, let me figure out that. So we make 20 ice cream sandwich. I sell it. So we have enough money to make 100 ice cream sandwich. And that's where everything starts. I used to deliver between the service in the restaurant with my server band. I think we worked 23 hours a day that time, but it was so exciting.
You're making them, he's selling them, delivering them, doing
Selling and
lots of
delivering, yeah.
things. How long did you stay with only the classic as the offering?
2 days?
Yeah.
Got to be something new all the time.
Yeah,
All the
that's
time.
right. That's part of what we love about this too, is we're able to use our culinary background. So we still get to be creative as chefs. It's just in a different world.
He's only joking a little bit about the 23 hours. You're actually continuing to make all of those cookies during this period for maybe two years, going on 3 years, where you're literally making every cookie.
That's right. I worked in production, up until probably 2 years ago. So the first year I made every sandwich, and we started to, add on employees that would help with the production, but I was involved in production, very heavily up until just recently.
Yeah, it's really something to think about. Today, about 60 employees. Today, about how many items per day are you making?
Well, so we make about 50,000 ice cream sandwiches a day. And we started with, we did 100 a week, and that was like, woo, so much work. We're so busy. But we love to do it. It's exciting to see and just to see the growth.
Let's travel that path then from 100 a week to 50,000 a day. You've mentioned that being in Richmond is important. You're surrounded by other people who are passionate about food, but you're also surrounded by an entrepreneurial community that really wants to help you. You're starting to make those sandwiches at the back of Westbury Pharmacy. There's a small counter, really, not far from the University of Richmond. How did you get into that spot, and how long did you stay there?
So Westbury, we were looking for a spot because we, couldn't keep up. We were in this space. It was like 300 square feet. That's probably like 2 of these blocks. and we couldn't keep up with that. And so Xavier kind of put his feelers out because he's just knows everybody in Richmond for the most part.
Only the good ones.
Yeah. And so actually Billy Fallon, who was the owner of Billy Bread, and now he does the Billy Pie. I think he does coffee too, but he introduced us to the Westbury Pharmacy folks, and they were, looking for someone to take over that space, and so that's what we did.
Yeah.
And we spent about 2 years there, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
Customers of the pharmacy could literally watch you.
That's right.
We are right on the side of the Westbury Cafe,
Yep.
and the cookies was smelling so good, and everybody was kind of disappointed what they eat. Well, they can buy over there, so it was a good technique of sales.
Let's talk a little bit about how delivery and distribution starts to emerge at this point. So you're starting to crank out a few more of these, but getting them into the hands of customers through various outlets. Can you talk us through that process, especially about the first help that you had around distribution delivery?
Well, our first distributor was Performance Food Group, PFG, and we started with them, I think, 7 years ago.
Yeah, the first one we got
And
7.
We have a wonderful relationship with PFG. adore them and they have the same kind of feeling towards us. I mean, they really gave us a chance. It was just Xavier and I went into PFG and there was this huge conference room table and we were all like, oh. And
There was like 6 big decision makers in the front of us. We're like, what are we doing here? What's going on? That's change for a kitchen. I mean, when you run a kitchen and the day after you're in front of 6 VP of sales, president of sales, you're like, what's going on here? But we figure out pretty quick.
There are many in our audience who've come from far away. At the dinner last night, we heard that they're from 45 states and 22 countries. They may not realize PFG is headquartered here in Richmond.
Yes.
It's a $50 or $60 billion a year firm with tens of thousands of employees.
Yeah.
But there is a Richmond connection here, and they're certainly looking for local products, and they
Yes.
were at this time. So that meeting must have gone well.
it did, yeah. We went right away and they brought our product in and it started selling. Just that was our first kind of big first step into growth and just the manufacturing world, how it works, and just learning all the ins and outs of it. Because it is a different world when you first get into manufacturing and distribution and things like that. Coming from the chef background, there's it's just like speaking another language.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of learning curves.
And you still learn every single minute today too.
Could you share one of the earlier conversations maybe you had during this period where you might have started to think, what have we got ourselves into? I mean, there was promise for the company, but at some point it must have felt like, wow, this is bigger and more complex than we'd ever imagined.
Well, what would you say?
I would say that for us, failure was not an option. And we always, no matter what's gonna take, we really want to go there. So I think, like I explained a couple of minutes before, we run for 8 years, and I think we just stopped running a little bit this past 2 months. I mean, that's mean because someone else running for us too. Because we got a chance to hire someone that we really need. That's, I think we realized this to help us because we come from the restaurant business and running a company like we run today is, completely different. But I think for us, we love the challenge and like we have to do well. And so no matter what the price is gonna be, I mean, this product is amazing. We are in love with what we do now. We want everybody to have it.
And if you didn't sample them outside, I think they're going to be more after this.
Oh, yeah.
event.
Yeah, we want, if you don't have enough, I'll bring more.
So many entrepreneurs talk about those first few hires being so crucial to the business when it gets beyond the 2 of you to the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th. What was the process you used for identifying who would join the team at that point, or join the family, if you will?
Well, I mean, it was when we couldn't handle all of it. I mean, because we worked, 16, 18-hour days making the sandwiches and delivering and doing sales and just all of this stuff. And there was just, it came to a point like we need to have more hands in the kitchen so that we can focus on growing the business. But that's always, there's just so many levels to that. So, first we added on production workers, and then we added on managers and people with experience to help us as we grew.
And also when we can afford it.
Yeah, that's a big
Because
part
we have a level, then, you have to.
So weren't you talking to banks that were really excited about providing funding to you?
Oh, they're great people, like you probably all know. Yeah, they said, okay, the door is right there. So I think, and I also come from Europe, the system here is a little different. I think if I remember, they tell me that I don't have enough debt. I was like, okay. No, we try, and I think they want us to have 2 years of business. And I said, what do you want me to have 2 years of business if you, well, anyway, I got it. So, bank was not helpful in that time. Today, they love us. Today, they come at the door, we don't even have to answer. No, sorry. And that kind of cool too. You need a bank? No, we do. It's fine.
What what a great story. I want to talk about you setting up shop at Hatch. And for those who are not from Richmond, it might require a little bit of explanation. What is Hatch and how did you find your way there? And then what was the benefit of being a part of that?
So Hatch is a food incubator, and it's a warehouse building that's in Manchester. And so the idea behind Hatch is to provide small businesses a place where, you know, they can test out their products. They don't have enough business to commit to a building on their own. So there's just, you know, I'm not sure how many they have now, probably like 50 to 100 businesses that work out of Hatch and kind of use it as their starting point to the next step.
I just wonder how much fun it was for you at that period. I know you're busy, you're head down into, but you're also surrounded by other foodies who are trying to make a go of it. Just speak to maybe the benefit of being there for the time that you've been there.
I think the good thing about it there, I don't want to, we are the anchors over there, so we probably are the biggest company over there, and we are in the different buildings. So I think it's kind of great for all these people over there. Sometimes they love to come to us and say, what should I don't do? You know, because we already cross a certain path. We make mistakes, we learn from our mistakes, and of course, you know, we can help now this other smaller company to follow our path. And also on distribution, because a lot of things change. So that's kind of an important point for us. We are entrepreneur today. I mean, we never meant to be. I mean, this is who we are today, but we do our way. So when you have big companies tell us that, yeah, but this is what we do for years, okay, but this is not what we do. So I think you have a lot of change right now out there, and people believe on the younger company and help better food, I'm gonna say, to going on the market, and other distributors are a good business too. And so we met these people, so I try to, like, everybody's different, every different company, I mean, everybody are different. Hannah and I, we saw a bone, we jump in on it. That's what we do. We love challenge, we love to go ahead. And other people sometimes are different, so, but the good thing is we try to all help each other and put each other in the right direction. So it's a plus, and one day I would love to do what some people do to us, like help this company and maybe invest on their company, because that's another thing. I mean, we just talking about bank here. You have a lot of amazing genius chef or young entrepreneur. We just don't give them the chance because we are locked in a system. I mean, we are a perfect example. We start with $20, and do you want to say the numbers? Are we gonna finish this year?
Well, this year we're looking at about 10 million in sales.
It's
And
insane.
our first year was 50,000.
We have a lot of you have a lot of people like that out there, and I mean, it's possible. We are a perfect example. It's possible. We don't always problems. Let's just help each other. I think that's the future.
Do you mind saying a word about how the lives of your employees have changed since you've gone from 1 million to 10 million? Because so much it seems of what you're doing is trying to provide more opportunity for those that work with you.
Definitely, that's for me. I can just wax on and on about our team, because we have. That's for me the backbone of Nightingale is our staff. We have a wonderful staff. They're like family to us. And when we first started, you know, of course, like we didn't have any money, and so it was difficult to pay salaries that were competitive. But our staff has, a lot of them stuck with us, and it's just such a wonderful thing to be able to offer them more opportunity and salaries and just something that makes their life better. And we really believe in that, and we're very much about creating that team environment and that kind of culture at Nightingale.
Yeah, it's got to attract other, who want to work with you and for you and all of that. Before we get to lessons learned, let's talk about the success you've had with Fresh Market in particular. They've become a really important piece of your story. So how did that start, and where does it stand today?
Well, the fresh market, that was one of our target customers, and we used to talk to each other and be like, oh, that's one day we'll get in the fresh market.
In Midlothian, you have a fresh market here in town, and I said to Hannah one day, and now we are.
And we were, so we actually had found the contact. There's just different ways that you can get information and sales leads and things like that. So through one of the portals that we used, we found the fresh market's buyer's contact and set up a call with them. It was over the Christmas holiday. And so Xavier, it was just Xavier and I at the time. And so we presented Nightingale to them. And it takes a long time too. Like when a buyer commits,
It's a big process.
it's 2 to 3 months before you get a purchase order, and then probably 6 to 12 months before it's in stores. So it's very much a process. But I received an email that had the new items for the fresh market, and so it shows you in a spreadsheet which items they're cutting, which they're bringing in. And I scrolled down it, and I saw our name, and I was just freaked out.
It's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
Of course.
And so it was just so exciting, and we've worked with them now for about 2 years, and they're one of our best customers.
Really good. I mean, so to understand a little better the retail business shelf in one spot in the shelf, it's gold. And what Fresh Market do to us, they remove everybody. They put our entire line, plus our 4 packs. I mean, they are dedicated to us, so we have to be dedicated to them. And we also have a great relationship. I met the CEO and his team, and I bring them in the best restaurant in Richmond. We have to share that too. It's important to have a good relationship with these guys. But just to come back with that, so we are chef, we create Nightingale, and we still today made everything by hands. If people have the chance to try it today, the cookies is made by hand every single day in house. The strawberries, we made our own strawberries jam. We do everything from scratch. So when a buyer, I'm doing trade shows a lot, and when some buyer just come, sometimes they don't have time. I like to be a little pushy, so when people are come to me, I'm gonna come to you. So I bring this ice cream and I give that to people there. They just walk on the front of my booth and take a bite and like, whoa, what is this? So they come back, and they are, I think also it's different than other products than you can find up there in grocery store. So I think buyers can recognize that today, say, this is really good and this is really cool. We should have this, and that's what I tell them too. If you don't have that in your store, come on. You ought to be cool.
The packaging itself is fairly unique as well. I understand your father was actually stamping the packages for
I
us.
started. And I give my job.
He started, and then my sweet dad, I would call him and go, Dad, I need 1,200 packages. And he would work through the night stamping the Nightingale logo. I know, he's just so sweet. And he would bring them to me. And that's how we started, is our packaging was a pouch. And so we packed it all by hand. We would put the ice cream sandwich into the pouch, and then we would use a foot pedal heat sealer. And so that's what we did for the first, 2 or 3 years.
You were gonna start with that AirP? You forget that.
When we first started, I had no clue about how this worked. And so you're supposed to have the seal is heat. It's created by heat. And I didn't know anything about heat sealers or what Uline was. I don't know if y'all know Uline, but it's like a website where you can buy all kinds of equipment. And so I found a little travel size hair straightener. That's how I started doing the first.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Because I had my little hair straighteners that I would.
Why don't we talk about what your father's reaction was? So your father's from Belgium.
Yeah.
Perhaps ice cream sandwiches aren't so much a thing in Belgium.
I came here to be a chef. I called him 6 years after. I said, we start an ice cream sandwich company. Like, what? But Belgium is not like here. It's kind of cold over there. Ice cream is not very popular over there. We like mussels, years, and of course waffle. Chocolate. We love everything. And yeah, it was a big surprise. Like, what are you talking about, my son? I mean, I don't understand. So he was a little worried.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing, man? So he thought, I think then we have a card, and nothing wrong with that. He thought that we have a card because we started farmers market also. Then we have a card, and I was selling ice cream sandwich in the corner of the street. And he said, "What does that come from when you own 2 restaurants in Richmond?" He said, "I don't get it." So the first time that he came, he understood that no, it was not the same. Then we actually manufacture and deliver to a local store.
Yeah.
So he came 5 years ago when we started batch in that time, and he came back in September. And when the last time that he came with 800 square foot. The first time that he came, sorry, and the last time in September, I showed him the new facility of 20,000 square feet. So he was like, "Okay, you know." And we sell nationwide also, so it's yeah. He's very impressed about what's going on.
2022 from the outside seems like it was a big year for you, included in one of Oprah's lists, which is some kind of popularity. And then you created a collaboration with Nicky Hilton. I'd love for you to tell the story about how that collaboration came about, and then what the impact of it was. I understand this was one of those lessons learned.
That's right, yeah. So Nicky Hilton was, followed us on Instagram, and there was a little shop in the Hamptons that sold Nightingale. And so she, would get it. She was a big fan of our sandwiches, and so she reached out to us on social media to see if we could do some kind of collaboration. And we all were like,
We
were so excited. I was so excited. I'm big into like the celebrity gossip. I read Us Weekly. But anyway, so we contacted her, and so we decided to make a collaboration sandwich with Nicky Hilton. And her idea was she wanted an ice cream that had the honeycomb candy crushed up in it. Which I don't know if y'all know what the honeycomb candy is, but it's it's candy where you boil honey and sugar and water together. And once the candy is done, it has the look of honeycomb. It has like little hold all through it. But it's really difficult to make. And Nicky Hilton asked for that. And I was like, "Oh, sure, yeah." And at the time, we were just going to sell it on Goldbelly, which is our direct-to-consumer shipping that we offer. So I was like, "Oh, yeah, I can make, a couple hundred sandwiches. That'll be fun." And so... But then the Fresh Market was like, "We'd love to bring it in." And I couldn't say no. I was like, oh yeah, of course. And so I had like days of just making honeycomb candy, because the thing about honeycomb candy too is it's difficult to make versus other candy, because you get the candy to the temperature it's supposed to be at, and usually you're done. But for honeycomb, once it gets to the temperature it's supposed to be, you whisk in baking soda, which makes it kind of blow up like a volcano, like the kind of science project you see. And so it would just, something that I had my little system of like 6 pots, because a big pot didn't work. I tried, it's too much. So I had 6 pots. I had my little area that I had with sheet trays. And so I was just making candy around the clock. And we finally got their order done. So it was like one order, that's all they're committing to, and then we're done. And so it all went out, and I was like, okay. And we had this whole, publicity around it, marketing, social media campaign that we did with the Fresh Market. And we were like, what's going on? Like, it's not, showing up in the stores. And then we got word from our distributor that they had transported it out of temp, which means they hadn't set the reefer of the truck to the right temperature. And so it arrived to their warehouse completely melted. And it was heartbreaking. It was like, oh, my child. And so they paid for it, but we had to redo the whole thing. So I had to do the
We have to buy some new pots. because I threw everything away. I was so So that's the first thing, we have to buy new pots.
And I was like covered in candy, like sticky everywhere. But yeah, I would say that was a lesson learned because I'm very eager to do like intricate things, and that does not always translate well to mass production. So that was definitely a lesson learned. The hard way. But it was delicious. That flavor was, I think, the best one we've made. It was a cookie, again, with too much. It was golden graham cereal crushed up, and we substituted some of the flour with crushed golden graham cereal. It was cereal. And then the honeycomb ice cream. So it was delicious.
I was happy with the classic.
I like chocolate blackout myself. Let's talk about new flavors and how they come about and how you taste them. One of the things that I'm always curious about with food entrepreneurs is this idea that you probably have a palate that allows you to understand what the audience is going to like, but you must have to test it somehow. I mean, beyond just the two.
It's my job.
Please share a little bit more about how new flavors come about.
Well, so we used to do many more flavors than we do now. And that was, again, like my problem. Because I just love to make up new flavors, and everybody's like,
Well, the cool part about it, she understood by herself, because I was not in production anymore. So when you have all these flavors, you have to create
it all
what you
fell
want.
on me.
So,
Yeah, but
but it's fun.
we used to have like upwards of 20 flavors, which is, it's not reasonable to keep up with that when you scale to a certain level. And so, I mean, what we usually do for new flavors is we do seasonal flavors. So right now we have our core menu, which is flavors that are available year round. And then we do seasonals that we do every quarter. We used to do it one every month, again.
We are passionate about food.
I see.
And you discovered an ice cream sandwich is actually can be a real treat. Like you can pair it with wine. You can pair it if you don't drink alcohol. You can pair it with whatever you want. Pretty much, it's really fun to create something different. We have an apple cider, and now I'm not too much a big fan. I love the ice cream sandwich. Apple cider ice cream sandwich. We created a Manhattan ice cream sandwich with collaboration with Reservoir whiskey distillery that are here in town. And it's not alcohol only, but we macerate the cherry in a barrel of whiskey. So that's the kind of stuff that we like to do something really different. And the result was awesome. I don't have any favorite because they're all so good, and we can create all the time. And that's, of course, what is exciting about it. But we still have a little lab kitchen that we're working on new recipes now, and that's the pretty cool thing about it. And we have zero limits. We used to do a ham and biscuits ice cream sandwich, and we did that, and it sold well, but we cannot sell it too much because of different regulation. We used to make a waffle, the waffle hot honey. I mean, we have some crazy ones, and that's where it's the fun. We even have group on social media chasing these ones.
Oh, and the Duke's Mayo.
And the Duke
Yeah,
mayonnaise.
that was a fun. We
Duke
did
mayonnaise.
a collaboration with Duke Mayo.
It was an April Fool's on social media. We're gonna make a mayonnaise ice cream sandwich. I'm from Belgium, from mayonnaise. And
They reached out to us like, let's do it.
So they said, we want this to happen. Okay. We're gonna do this.
You've partnered with other Richmond businesses, I think Blanchard's Coffee,
Yes.
use some of their products.
We try to be most local as possible.
Yeah, so neat. And then you must get suggestions once in a while that you should expand beyond ice cream sandwiches. Good as they are, I just have to imagine people say, why don't you do this or that? What are some of those ideas, and have any of them tempted you to expand?
I would say, mainly what we get is flavors. If people they're like, you should try this flavor, we love this flavor. I think pints is something that has been requested before. I wouldn't say that we're not on that path yet.
Well, I think and again, I don't want to be arrogant, but in grocery stores and mom and pop stores, you don't find the level of ice cream sandwich that we do. So we really want to specialize on what we do, and we want this ice cream to be the best. So we want to be focused on what we do best. So do pint and stuff, everybody does that.
I think the one thing that's true that we did get from customers, of course, we constantly had the feedback that it's too big. The Nightingale sandwich is too big, it's like a meal, and they want so that's how we invented the chomp size sandwich. That's how that came about. That was a suggestion that was always submitted to us.
I'm going to turn to the audience for questions in just a minute, but before we do that, let's talk about your distributing into Costco and what that's meant for the business in the last year or two. I think things have really exploded as you've gotten the product into Costco.
We're so excited to get into Costco. We've been presenting them to them for quite a while, and we finally got the go-ahead. And so this year we started an 18-pack of our chomp size Cookie Monster in Costco. And it's just been amazing. It was an amazing response, and Costco is a wonderful customer to work with. They're very transparent, with their fees and things like that, and that doesn't happen a lot. But when we started with Costco, the buyer was like, this is a higher price point. We're not too sure if it's gonna work. So we're committing to 2 truckloads, which we were like, that's not enough, like you need to order more, especially because we're well known in this region. And that's how Costco works though, is they commit to a certain amount. And it doesn't mean that you're in there year round, they do things in rotations. So we sent them the 2 truckloads, and then over the weekend it sold out. And Monday morning.
Make sure, it's not just Virginia, we are in hundreds of Costco.
It's all of the
The entire
Northeast,
Northeast.
so Maine to Virginia. And so it sold out, and then that Monday morning I came in and I saw an email that the buyer said, they'd like to increase their commitment to 9 truckloads. And we were like, it was so exciting. But that meant pretty much that we had to double our production within weeks, because for us, half of our day was Costco. And so the other half was all of our customers. So we had to scale up just as soon as possible. And they also, after they went through the 9 truckloads, added an additional 7. So we went from 2 truckloads to 17 for the year, which is just amazing. And it's really changed our business in a great way, and it's helped us to grow and to look at things at a level that we haven't before.
Say a word or two more about that in terms of some of the things that you have to look at given what has happened. Just a few more details for this audience.
Well, I think for us, bringing in people with experience, we were able to take it this far, and this year we were able to bring on a couple key hires that have manufacturing experience, that have worked in the industry for 20, 30 years. And so bringing on that level was necessary, because because of that increase. I mean, just taking on from 25,000 to 50,000 sandwiches a day is a lot of change. And you need to have people around you and surround yourself with good people and people with experience.
You're producing them 5 days a week, is that right? Is it corrected to a 6th day?
5 to 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you won't go to 7?
Probably will.
Yeah. And I'm wondering about the 20,000 square foot, the capacity there. Can you forecast when you're going to have more capacity than that?
Well, for us, it's more about our storage capacity. So at our facility, all of our 20,000 square feet is production. That's it. We make it and we get it out of there as soon as we can. And so we work with a company, Lineage Logistics. They're a national company, and they hold and ship all of our product. So we've seen what we can do in our facility, and we've done the exercises to see how much we can get out of the facility, which is quite a bit more than you would imagine. But the issue is the freezer storage, so it's just gonna continue to, we're gonna need more and more freezer space.
Yeah.
So that's the next step for us, is finding that.
You still have, both have smiles on your faces though, so looking forward to that. Let's see what's on the mind of our audience members. There's a microphone here, so by all means, raise your hand and we'll get some audience questions.
Hi, thank you so much for coming today and sharing your story. My group at Markel Ventures is huge fans of Nightingales. I have been buying them for 3 years now. So we love your product. I've never heard how you chose your name.
Well, so Nightingale, that
That's
the,
you.
yeah, it was, where I was the chef, was Greenleaf's Pool Room. And so Greenleaf was named after Ralph Greenleaf, and he was a world famous pool player. It was like an old school like pool room, pool hall with kind of upscale. And at the time, it was kind of a spin-off of that business. And Ralph Greenleaf's wife was also a famous pool player, and she was called the Oriental Nightingale. And so that's how that kind of came about. And the logo came from the owner of Greenleaf's used to go on, not sure, just like kind of walks around Europe. What is
Like
that
a
called?
bistro and
What is it called, like when you go on like
a tour.
a tour? Oh, you could just walk, go for like trek around. And so he took a picture one time of a bird that was painted on the side of a wall in Spain, and he sent it to me, and it just, that's how the logo evolved into what it is today.
Thank you for sharing.
Hi, good morning. My name's Austin Harris, big fan as well. Success begets success, right? And you guys have come a long way, and the retail distribution is really admirable. It was super gratifying for me as a consumer and admirer to find you in Costco recently as well. As you think about, Richard touched on this earlier, but as you think about the intersection of growth and what probably seems like unlimited opportunity for retail expansion and introducing the brand to more consumers, how do you navigate that intersection of growth opportunity and production capacity? And then do you expect to maintain that commitment to handmade and homemade as the business moves forward? Or do you think that co-packing or contract manufacturing is an option?
Well, no, not for us. We would like to continue to control everything ourselves in production. And that's important to us because of the quality of the product. That's our number one value of Nightingale, is to not sacrifice the quality. And we just don't want to pass it off to anyone else because we know what we want from our ice cream sandwiches. And so we are continuing to grow. There's semi-automation that we can put into our process, but we don't want to, again, lose the quality by going fully automated. And, you know, we are able to do that with some innovation, but we're not going to go fully automated because we want, again, to keep the quality of the product. And that's what we believe in, and why we believe we have gone this far, is because we've never taken our eye off the detail of our product. Like, why our product sells is because it's delicious, and we don't want
Maybe you're a
to.
good salesman.
But we don't want to turn it into like a Nutty Buddy or something that is just, you can tell it was pumped off a machine line.
Someone's gonna probably do that when you're gonna buy it.
Well, Austin asked the question, helped to build Health Warrior into a wonderful business that was sold to Costco. So he knows a little bit about exactly what he worked for Milk Bar too.
There we go.
Wow.
This is Diane, and I'm in Richmond from Markel. Curious, have you tried doing a non-dairy ice cream sandwich? I know that's a growing market. My husband is dairy intolerant. He loves ice cream sandwiches. So have you played around with that or considered that as an option?
We have, we have tried, working with dairy-free and gluten-free.
Try vegan.
Yeah, vegan, but the issue for us is our facility. So those types of restrictions need to have a separate facility for it. And we just don't have that available in our facility now. It could happen in the future, but we just want, of course, if we went that route, to do it right and make sure that there's no cross-contamination of it.
Hi, my name is Nicholas. You spoke to the importance of the collaborative culture that you create for your employees. Are there specific practices or things that you do in order to make it really feel like a family?
Well, I would say we're very inclusive with everyone on our team. So actually, the guy that we had hired for our VP of operations recently, who came in and someone that's really helped us grow, was surprised. He was like, everybody cares about the ice cream sandwiches here. Like he said, that's so rare that they actually believe in what you're spouting. And that's something that we want to continue to do. All of our staff is included in what's happening. So when we got Costco, we explained to them the big chance that this was all 60 employees. We got everybody together and told them, the quality of the sandwich is so important, what a big opportunity this is. And they're really invested in it too.
Yeah, I think also it's because when you start with nothing, our first employee still with us today, and she's in charge of the entire bakery. That is not the same than it was 6 years ago. I mean, 50,000 ice cream sandwiches a day, it's 100,000 cookies. So she's in charge of that. We give our employee responsibilities, and I think they really enjoy this, to be a part. They are not just employees, they are part of the process. We don't our employee we have nothing. And we want to make sure that we can give them that kind of confidence in them. Try to pay, the most that we can, give them some benefit, give them the chance to buy a house, to have a good life like we have now. We want that for our employees. And I think why they care, because they start with us and they actually see. Before pandemic, we cannot pay people $14 an hour. Some people work for us for $11 an hour, $10 an hour. Now today we can afford much better and give them better benefit. It's important for us to share that with our employees. And the fact is now they give us that back to us and they care. And that's amazing. Some of our employees catch some stuff that we cannot see because we aren't in production anymore, and they care about it. Say, hey, this is not good. We have an issue with the machine. We need to call someone. Like I know other friends that don't have that chance, and say their employees just don't care. So
And we're
it's
really
important
big
for us.
about promoting from within. That's something that's really important to us, is to give the people who have been with us a long time and show that they want to better themselves that opportunity. And that's really important to us. We just actually promoted our assistant production manager to warehouse manager yesterday, and it's just so exciting to be able to give them that opportunity because they've earned it.
What's a typical week or month like for you, and how about for you today, now that you're out of the day-to-day production?
Usually I go in every morning. We have a morning meeting with our leadership team. We do a quality control check every morning. So we taste the ice cream from the day before to see if there's any issues and see if there's
Every day?
Every day. And then I usually am at the facility for the first part of the day, just going through and checking how production is running and if there's any issues. And then usually I'll go and work at home for the rest of the day, where I focus more on sales. So now that we have a VP of operations, who can handle it without me, because usually I would be there all day long. And it's just like eye-opening to be able to have that freedom, because he has the experience and because I trust his judgment. But the last half of the day, I really focus on sales, and working with our sales team to create new leads, follow up on leads, and it's just a constant push of follow up until you get that yes.
I was just curious if you found it difficult as the business grew to let go of the actual making of the items, because you started doing something that you love, being a chef. And as the business grows, you come away from that and get more to the business side. Was that difficult? Were there things that you did to just trust?
Well, I mean, for me, it was very difficult. It was in the beginning because I was so attached to it and because I had made every sandwich myself and it was difficult to let go. But I think the thing that you need the most is to people you trust, surround yourself with good people, and then also have a system that is based on there's no feeling to it. It's not like I think this is a good sandwich. We have checklists and there's just documentation, and that's really important as we grow is to implement that in every step. So there is something that's measurable in our quality and it's measurable in our goals, so that I can trust that it's being done correctly because I can see it in front of me, and it's not something that's subjective or like a random, feeling of it. And so that's something that's been important as we grow, to not just back off and say, y'all can do it, but back off, but continue to hold them accountable with that kind of process, if that makes sense.
Time for one final question.
Hi, I also work at Markel. So you mentioned all these test kitchen kind of not production worthy kind of recipes just because they don't necessarily work with your flow. Have you released a cookbook, or do you plan to? So maybe we could make some of those really tasty ones at home.
We haven't, but I
That's a
mean,
retirement plan.
that I'd love to do a collaboration. I just have my dream collaborations, and the top two is Dolly Parton. I love Dolly Parton, and I saw she just did a Krispy Kreme collaboration. I don't know if y'all have seen that. I follow everything. That's my number one dream. And then also the Barefoot Contessa, which is Heine Garden. Those are like two dream collaborations, so we'll see.
Well, this is seen by quite a few people, so I suspect those two things might happen. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us today.